Hello, New Wave of British Heavy Metal.com here. Today is the 5th of May 2021. Please, if I can start with the usual opening request for a favour, and that's if you would subscribe to the channel. That'd be marvellous and appreciated. And today we'll look at Heritage, a band that you might not remember from the old New Wave of British Heavy Metal days. They were one of the many bands that back then that put out one album and then disappeared for various reasons, but they were good. So Heritage then, they were from Sheffield, the same South Yorkshire metropolis that gave us the likes of in back then, the late 70s, early 80s, New Wave of British Heavy Metal and whatnot. Sheffield gave us and South Yorkshire gave us not only the marvellous Heritage, but also bands like Def Leppard, Saxon, China White, Geddy's Axe and others as well. And for Heritage, it wouldn't last long for them really, and more's the pity. There was a single that came out in 1981, and then just one album, Remorse Code, that came out the following year, and then they were gone. And just I said, just one of those many bands from back then that put out one album and then disappeared for whatever reason. But Remorse Code, I mean, Heritage were excellent, and Remorse Code just proves that. The single, the year prior to the album, Strange Place to Be and Misunderstood, showed even then that Heritage had talent. I mean, Strange Place starts with a bit of a Mick Shrimpton, the Spinal Tap. Bit of Spinal Tap, Mick Shrimpton style, oddball drumming, and then it develops into a really excellent sort of melodic rocker with a tasty hook and an even tasty guitar solo. And Misunderstood, a bit more straight ahead, but there's a lot of tasty guitar work going on as there. So that showed that the Heritage knew what they were doing. A big lineup change followed that single though. The only member from the lineup that recorded the single that went on to record the album was guitarist Steve Johnston. Sorry, Johnson, not Johnston. Johnson, Steve Johnson. And the other incomings were Steve's brother. We had also another Steve Barrett on guitar, and Pete Halliday on drums, and what a solid drummer as well. And the resulting album, Remorse Code, it's quite diverse in style. It's very well put together. The songs each are slightly different, but each one of them shows a lot of ability, not only in songwriting but arrangements and the musicianship as well, and particularly the guitar work of Johnson and Barrett, excellent. And so there's some really solid drumming from Halliday that kind of holds it all together. Much more to Heritage than pumping out riffs. They could do that, certainly could do it, but they were more refined at the same time. More of a refined edge to them as well. The opener and the title track's a good example of that. There's a really thumping, excellent short intro, and then it breaks out into a chugging, punchy style melodic rocker with a big chorus and some good solo work. Next up, Attack Attack, which a song like Attack Attack needs to do just that, doesn't it? And it does. A harder edged affair, some menace to it, and there's more of that excellent guitar work from the two Steves. Endless Flight, there's more than a touch of Thin Lizzy going on here, and you can hear that, and that's not a bad thing. It's a really excellent song, and again a good big hook and chorus to it. For Good or Bad and Need You Today, both of which more solid rockers, well put together, well performed, and some of that melody thrown in amongst all the other stuff that's going on. There's a refreshed version of the single on there as well, with that quirkiness going on, slipping away and changing mood, edge a bit into sort of ballad territory, I suppose, but there's still a fair amount of power and finesse going on there as well. Rudy and the Zips, barking mad offbeat instrumental, weird, and then Fighting Chance closes it out in some file sign as well. Well, that is of course before the earlier single appears on as bonus tracks on here as well. So you've got it all. You've got the single and you've got the album. All in all, in my opinion at least, Heritage certainly had the chops, but unfortunately not the breaks to go with them. So they could pump out riffs, they could do the power, they could do the melody, they varied their approach. They had two excellent guitarists, and they're all over this album. But unfortunately, the band's record label that they were signed to went bust, and that was the end of the road not long after the album came out. But it's still available. High Roller Records reissued it, I think, probably a couple of years ago. I managed to pick one up on Amazon after not being able to find it for a long time. I would suggest, if you can, get a copy for yourself and give your ears a treat. It really is one of those lost albums from way back in the new wave of British heavy metal early days. One of those lost albums that really deserves some attention. So check it out if you'd like to. There is, as always, a link below in the description to the album on Amazon, and also back to the website. So if you'd like to check it out, you can do. Hope you do. Excellent stuff. Please subscribe to the channel before you go if you haven't already. And as always, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and take care.